My name is Jim Bauman. I'm the current Logan County Sheriff. I've been married 27 years. My lovely wife Lori, my son Jonathan and Jennifer are here. When I was elected 4 years ago, I have 32 years of law enforcement experience. There were several things I wanted to do. One of the goals was professionalism and bring accountability to the Sheriff's Office. Try to get more deputies put on the street. We wanted to open up a substation to locate in different parts of the county. We did that. We have one located in the south part of the county. I'm working on one with Crescent as we speak. We restructured the patrol division. We made a chain of command for the staff. We also instituted a investigations division, which we didn't have at the time. We have 2 full-time investigators and a part-time investigator at this time. We've done a lot in 3.5 years. We're looking for the next election to do a lot more. Thank you.
My name is Randy Richardson. I'm a longtime resident of Guthrie. Been married 31 years to my wife, Lonetta. I've got 2 kids and 4 grandchildren. My son is a resident here also, teaches at, he's one of the band directors at Guthrie High School. Excuse me. I served 8 years as sheriff here from 2001 to 2008. We had, when I started, we were in the old facility. We had the worst jail in the state. In fact, we were a segment on Channel 13 as being one of the worst jails in the state. I fought hard right from the start to get a new jail built. We finally got that done, and with the help of the taxpayers, that's about the only way we could get it done. But we finally got into a new facility. I was prior to being sheriff, I was Midwest City Police Department. Served 3 years as a special investigator with the FBI Violent Crimes Task Force. I've served as a Central Region President of the Oklahoma Sheriff's Association and on their board of directors. But I've got 22 years of law enforcement experience plus 13 years of business management. There's a lot of things I want to continue to do if I get back in. I want to have an open door policy for all citizens, which I don't think that's happening now. I want to demand fiscal responsibility. One of the things I really want to do is increase drug enforcement, which is not happening now. That trickles down into all other crimes, from burglaries to everything else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. All right, the first question is going to go to Sheriff Bauman, and I'm going to alternate, okay? I'm going to alternate, but if I get it confused, please feel free to correct me. Okay. 1 minute. What is your stance on Second Amendment rights?
I'm for Second Amendment rights. I was one of the 18 that voted for the open carry. There's going to be times and stuff when you as a citizen are going to be somewhere where you're going to be 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get from us to get to where we're at to you, and you should have a right to be able to defend yourself. And I believe the Second Amendment is important to all of us.
Mr. Richardson?
Same question.
Make sure I didn't turn that off. I hit that button, make sure I didn't turn it off on you.
Yes, I believe in the Second Amendment also. I believe the person has a right to defend himself, and like Sheriff Bauman said, a lot of times the Sheriff's Office can't get there within 20 or 30 minutes, as big as the county is. So I believe a person has a right to defend himself, so I agree with you.
Thank you. Second question for Mr. Richardson first. Should vehicles be financed?
I believe sometimes they need to be. We financed some of them when I was there, especially starting out with. We bought vehicles off state contract, and just like every other agency around the state, buy off state contract, and usually buy off of a lease purchase program, which is a 3-year lease purchase, and you make payments on it at the end of 3 years. It's yours. As I had the money when I was there, we paid cash for it, and then sometimes we purchased them on a lease purchase agreement.
Sheriff Bauman?
I believe we should be, if we can pay cash, we need to pay cash. That's less money that we are taking from our tax dollars. If you have the money, pay cash. If you have a way of earning the money to get the money in to be able to pay cash, that's what I expect. That's what I think you should do. In my 3 years that we're here, we've been able to do that. I have over $1 million in my share fees and revolving account after buying 8 patrol vehicles, 4-wheel drive patrol vehicles. We paid cash for them. I bought several Oklahoma Highway Patrol cars that we utilized for reserves and other cars and paid cash for those. That's all after earning money for the last 3 years. We brought in federal prisoners. They pay $70,000 a month. We take that money, we utilize it for the jail. We put $50,000 a month into our jail to help pay for the jail and get ready for the 2015, I think it is, when the sales tax ends, to try to supplement our jail. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, next question, starting with Sheriff Bauman. How do you feel about open carry?
I think we just took care of that. I'm all for it.
Did I just say that word?
Well, you talked about the Second Amendment, right? I'm one of the 18 out of 77 counties that came out and spoke about that. I'm for open carry because it's only for those who are already carrying concealed weapons. And if you have a concealed carry permit, then you have a right to being able to open carry. I think the way they came about that, or they brought it up for a couple of reasons. I'm an SDN, carry concealed weapon instructor. If you were carrying one and your shirt came up or it was exposed, that was a crime. Under the open carry law, that won't be a crime. I don't expect that there's going to be a lot of people running around toting guns on their sides. I think it'll be the law-abiding citizens that have the right. They should have the right to be able to have a gun, where the bad guy's already got a gun and he doesn't care about our rights. Thank you.
I agree with it too. I don't think you'll see that many people, carrying a gun on their hip out in the open. I think most people that have the licenses will carry them concealed. I don't think you want the bad guy seeing you're the first, when they walk in, you're the first one they see carrying one on their side. So I don't think there'll be a large majority of people carrying on, open carry. So.
Next question, starting with Mr. Richardson. Have you ever had a deputy refuse to handle a call? Why? How was it handled? And we know you're not the incumbent, but you have been the sheriff, so if you'd like to answer that, feel free.
Sure. Yes, I have had deputies refuse a call before, if it and sometimes they're civil cases, but I have had a deputy refuse a call before. I found out about it. We actually sent somebody down and gathered up his vehicle, and he was fired.
My question too? Yes, I've had one. I had it happen to me while listening to my radio, listening to a call. One was being dispatched to a burglary call. Another officer took it up, but the officer that was dispatched at first, he said no, it was a courtesy call and he wasn't going to go to it. And uncalled for, He came, after answering the call, he came in and talked to me. The next day, he resigned.
Thank you. Next question, starting with Sheriff Bauman. Are you or have you been over budget while in office?
As I said a minute ago, I have $1 million in the bank right now. I have not been over budget. When I took office, Mr. Richardson's budget was $1,136,000 and some change. I have been operating on a budget of $1,073,700 for the past 3.5 years, which is less than what his budget was. So that answer is no, I've not been over budget.
No, I was never over budget.
Thank you. This question is for you first, Mr. Richardson. How many lawsuits have you been involved in?
I'm not sure. We've had several. A lot of them well, as far as I know, all of them stemmed from the old jail. The people that work there now, that's been in that, just moved into that new facility, have no idea what it was like working in that old facility and the problems that they had. That's the reason I fought so hard at. That's the reason I fought so hard at getting a new one. Have we lost one? No. But we were sued many times because of the jail.
What's the question again?
How many lawsuits have you been involved in?
I think we've had 3 or 4. They've all been dismissed except for one that I know of. Oh, I'm sorry. Got to go to you.
Okay. Okay. You guys have put some of these questions just to be asked to one person, and since they both have the office, I'm just asking them about everything. Starting with Sheriff Bauman. What is the state, maybe statute, I think it's what is the state of the Sheriff's Office budget? Is it true that the acceptance of federal prisoners has alleviated costs which were previously passed on to the taxpayer?
By bringing in the federal prisoners, it has alleviated a lot of costs. Anything that would have been passed on to the citizens, we have absorbed it by using the money from the feds to be able to take care of anything that needed to be taken care of. So the answer to that would be yes, it has.
The 1 year that we were in the new facility, we had numerous contacts with the U.S. Marshals on contracting with the feds, and but when the way the election turned out, I dropped that because you're not supposed to, contract with something that's going to affect the incoming sheriff. So we dropped that at that time. Do I think it's a good thing? Yes, I do. But there needs to be a limit on that. You can house too many federal prisoners and have to turn down local prisoners, and that's not why this jail was built. It was built to take care of the Logan County prisoners. If you've got extra room, then great. Do the federal prisoners and make the money. But we've heard several times that they've turned down prisoners because they were full.
Thank you. Okay, this next question, the person that turned this question in has addressed a question differently to both of you. Let me think about that. We're starting with Mr. Richardson. So let's just start with you. What about your exit audit when you left? And the initials here are, I think it says LCSO.
Logan County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Well, I had no opportunity to see the exit audit until basically until today. there were a few discrepancies. There's always discrepancies on the audits, but nothing major. I mean, we want you to do something a little different here or a little different there, and that's the way it was always been in the 8 years. Plus, it varies on who's doing the audit. They bring in different people to do audits, and one time they'll tell you one thing, and when they come back in the next time, another person they'll tell you they'll want you to do it a little differently. So that's it.
Sheriff, the question, if these questions seem, if they're getting redundant, then I'll look at that also. But the question for you on this part is, what have you accomplished during your tenure?
I've accomplished several things. We, one, have a 800 megahertz radio system that the federal government gave us $538,000 worth of equipment and radios, portable radios that I can go to Marshall and get out of my car and talk on a portable radio to anywhere in the county. When I first started, we weren't able to do that. We go places where you can't get cell phone communications in this county. But I can get out of the car with a portable radio and now talk to other deputies. We can talk to Oklahoma County, we can talk to Oklahoma City, we can talk to Highway Patrol. There's several people that we're able to communicate with, which is a better communication for us. It makes it more safe for our officers, and it's better for our citizens that we can get out there and protect them.
Thank you. All that one done. Okay. All right, Sheriff, this is for you. How long have you been a Republican? No. Mr. Richardson. Mr. Richardson. How long have you been a Republican? Why are you one now?
I knew this question was going to come up. It's been, I don't know, less than a year probably. You say, why am I one?
How long have you been a Republican? Why are you one?
Okay. Like I said, less than a year. I've always been conservative. I was a Democrat because my folks were Democrats. I just grew up that way. I'm not a political person. In fact, to be honest with you, I don't think county offices should be political. I think they should be nonpartisan. In fact, Sheriff Wetzel in Oklahoma County has been trying to do that, trying to get that passed for several years now. So, I mean, that's, you know, like I said, I don't think it should be. I think it's. I've had several friends try to get me to switch over several years now, and I just did it this last year. So.
All right, first again for Sheriff Bauman, for both of you. How many deputies do, excuse me, how many deputies do or did you have to patrol the county?
How many do I have now?
Yeah, it says deputies do or did you have?
Okay.
A do.
When I took office in 2009, there was, I believe, 11 from the sheriff on down. Today, we have approximately 21 from me on down. We have, counting our investigators, we're at 5 per shift. Once we get everybody trained, we have a minimum staffing of 3, and some days there'll be 4. But as it stands, we have, from me on down, approximately 21 certified deputies. Now, I have deputies in the jail that are also certified, and those deputies are used for transporting prisoners to alleviate taking people off my patrol. I keep my patrol people in the county. My deputies in the jail take care of the jail, setting on hospitals, setting on transports, and that kind of thing. Good.
When I started in 2001, we had 7, counting myself, and that's to show you how small the budget was. When I left, we had 15 total, counting myself, but we didn't have the luxury. We were working basically off a budget. We didn't have the luxury that time of federal prisoners to help alleviate that problem with the deputies. So, I mean, like I said, that's a great thing. It really allows the sheriff's office with funding to be able to do that.
Next question. Mr. Richardson first. What is your opinion of women as deputies? This is a two-part question. And would you allow your men to refer to women as police bunnies?
Who you want this to go
My
to?
first.
Richardson.
I've had female deputies, and they do a good job. I don't see a problem with it. A lot of times they're more level-headed than the men in a lot of cases. So I don't see a problem with it. I've had them on the reserves. I've had them as a full-time deputy, and I think it's great. The second part of that is no, it would not allow that.
I'll get to the second part first. This question I think was directed towards me. It's been on my Facebook page, and the term was badge bunnies. No, I've never called one of my female deputies a badge bunny. A badge bunny term is from a civilian female following deputies around, is where that term came up 100 years ago. I have female deputies. I have female deputies in a jail that are certified. I've had female deputies that work for me. Ones that have left, I would take them back. So, yes.
Okay, give me just a moment, please. Thank you. Okay, this question is another prisoner question. I am going to ask it, though. This question is to you, Sheriff. There have been rumors around the county that you have refused arrestees at the time of booking. I've heard the reason was due to overflow with federal prisoners. Please explain why this occurred, if this is true.
First of all, I don't know of any time that we have ever been overcrowded to where we could not take a prisoner. And Mr. Richardson can tell you this too, our 167 bed jail, we can hold up to 174 if we fill all the holding facilities. We've never been to that capacity. I think what they have talking about, there has been times when other agencies have brought intoxicated people into our jail. And they've been so intoxicated that we request them to take them to the hospital to be medically cleared. Because if I put them in my jail and they die, that's going to cost our taxpayers a lot of money. So therefore, yes, they are rejected to go get medical clearance. When they bring them back, we'll put them in jail.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. This question is just for Mr. Richardson. And can you hear me? Okay. And I think we've discussed this exit auditing, but here's the question. How can you explain the accounting inaccuracies posted on the 2009 exit audit performed by the Oklahoma State Auditor's Office, especially when you have stated that you left Sheriff Bauman a surplus of $300,000 in the fees account?
I'm looking at the exit audit right now, and the only thing that they show here is that they noted the sheriff's cash bond account has a negative balance of $1,076.93. The sheriff's service fee account, which is not the fee account with all the money in it, has a positive balance of that very same amount. So what it was that works itself out. So what they're talking about has nothing to do with this. It doesn't even list the sheriff's fees account on this audit. And we did leave, by statute, you have to leave half the budget. We left more than half the budget, and we left around I don't have the exact figure, but it was around $300,000 in the sheriff's cash fee account when I left.
Okay, to both you gentlemen, starting with Sheriff Bauman. What have you done, or will you do, to combat the drug problem in Logan County?
Okay. We're working a couple of drug things right now that I can't discuss because I'm sure Sheriff will agree with me here. As of yesterday, I had a meeting with the our district attorney in Logan County, the Payne County DA, Mr. Lee. He came down with us, and we got together with a major drug agency, teachers, in fact, Desert Snow, and we're working on setting up an interdiction deal on the highway as we speak. And we do work drugs. It takes time to work drugs, and we have had several meth labs that we've taken care of. They're into the one pot meth labs now, the pop bottles and stuff, and we've taken down a major dealer that was packing it into canning jars and shipping it off. So we are working drugs, and we will continue to work drugs.
Okay. During my 8 years there, we were members of the Payne County, Logan County Drug Task Force. We had people assigned to that task force that worked drugs all the time. If y'all remember reading in the newspapers, we were busting drug dealers and meth labs all the time. And I know the meth labs are down a little now, but there's still a lot of drugs in this county that are not they're not going after them. I've got, if I'm elected, the man that's going to be my undersheriff actually is assigned to the DEA, has been for 10 years. And he never gets called to come up here to work drugs, do anything. So what we plan on doing is getting back in there again, working drugs really strong, because all that is a trickle-down effect from drugs into all the other crimes, burglaries, trailer, stolen trailers, you name it, everything. So it's real big on our agenda.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff Bauman, how many more officers are on the street now compared to when you took office?
We have 3 on the shift mandatory. We try to keep 3 on the shift every day. And when I took office, there was 2 and sometimes 1. When we first took office at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, we had 1 deputy on the street. And we've since taken care of that. We have 3 on the street pretty much all the time, unless someone gets sick. We had a deputy that had a heart attack. We're manning the shifts over that. But we keep 3 people on the shift as much as we can.
Sorry.
I'm just passing back and forth.
You got the worst job. Let's see. Sheriff, how many of your employees reside outside of Logan County, and how far do they drive commuting to and from work?
I have approximately 6, maybe 7 that live within 5 miles of the county line in Edmond that come into our area, and within 5 miles.
This is for both of you. We'll start with Mr. Richardson. Why is it important to be a political party affiliate to be sheriff? Mr. Richardson.
Would you repeat that?
Why is it important to be a political party affiliate to be sheriff?
I'm not sure that it is, to be honest with you. It's like I said, I think the county sheriff should be nonpartisan. The 8 years I was there, I never made a decision on filing a report, filing charges, arresting somebody based on whether they were Democrat, Republican, or Independent. So, and like I said, that there is a movement to try to get the sheriff's office as a nonpartisan position.
Same question?
Yes, sir.
I agree 100%. I'm one of the supporters for the nonpartisan. I want you to judge me on my accolades, what I've done for the county in the last 3.5 years. I believe that we shouldn't be partisan either, that we should be judged on what we do.
This question is for both candidates, starting with Sheriff Bauman. How do you feel about the, excuse me, how do you feel about the multidisciplinary approach to investigating child abuse and neglect? If so, how many MDT?
We take child abuse very seriously. That's one of the highest crimes that we have in Logan County. My full-time detective, I have 2 of them that, one of them is full-time pretty much on that, and he has a second one that helps him out because we have such a high volume of it. The MDT, or you're talking about the organizations where we have with DHS and all those, they're needed. We need to have these centers that can do the forensic interviews and stuff of the children so that they're not put through more trauma from the beginning of the case. So I'm for it very much.
Yes, I've always, the whole time I was in there, I supported it very strongly. In fact, I probably, in the whole time, maybe missed 2 or 3 meetings. I always went to the meetings, and so, like the sheriff said, it's a growing problem, not only in this county but every county, and so I always took it very seriously, and I support it very strongly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've decided that we're going to run this forum until 9:15. And where we are is where we are. And then we'll dispense these questions to the candidates, and they'll be responsible for answering these questions however they choose, whether it's Facebook, their webpage, their phone calls, whatever they choose to do. So we're going to cut this off in about 20 more minutes, and we'll get to what we can, and it'll be their responsibility to answer the rest of your questions. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. This is really to you, Sheriff. Why, unless you have an answer for this, but I don't know, so we'll see. Why does the press release regarding the recent accident in front of Love's differ from the official OHP report?
Could you read that again?
Surely. Why does the press release regarding the recent accident in front of Love's differ from the official OHP report? Jennifer knows.
Yeah, first of all, I don't know anything about the press release being different than we're going to go by the accident report because
That's all you said.
that's all the highway patrol work accidents. They're very good at what they do, and that's what we're going to go by.
Do you have anything to say?
But I think I know where this is coming from. From what I understand, the press release was they were talking about that, and believe me, accidents happen with deputies quite often. I mean, we go in a hurry. We're always in the traffic. But I think what I understand was they said he was going license siren, chasing a speeder, and that was not what the accident report stated. So that's all I know.
How much taxpayer money was spent to settle the lawsuit in, I think it says 2009, it may be 4, against you in reference to denying a prisoner bail, violation of the 14th Amendment? Dobbs versus Richardson, case number, and it goes on to clerk the case, or to cite the case.
I wasn't there in 2009,
Maybe.
but I know I know the case, and It has not been settled. It's still ongoing, has been for years. And what it stemmed was, he tried everything at first. We arrested him on a failure to register. He said it was expunged, but DOC said it wasn't. He was arrested. At the time, and it has been for years, a policy in the county that if on a felony warrant you did not bond out until you saw the judge, and even the judges said they can remember that as far back as they can remember. It's always been that way. That's what's in court now. So, but it's not settled.
Thank you. Sheriff Bauman, would you allow or have you allowed deputies working from home?
No.
Some of these I'm having a hard time reading. Let's see. What does Glenn McIntyre do for the county to earn $2,500 a month as a non-employee, as well as being given possession of a county vehicle?
That's easy. Nothing. He doesn't get paid money. He's a reserve, and he does training for us.
Okay, let's see if this could be for both of y'all. How can the current sheriff system, I just can't read it, so I'm going to pass on that one.
That might make it easy for both of us.
That's right. How many times a year, and this is going to go to both you guys, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Richardson.
Okay.
How many times a year do, or did, your deputies qualify with their weapons?
Usually it was 2 times a year. We had a in-house firearms instructor that set everything up, and I think we qualified twice a year. And then he would hold other things at the range in between those times also.
We do 2 times a year also. I have 5 or 6 certified firearms instructors within our agency, and we also do the multiple training, but we do at least 2 times a year we qualify with our pistols, rifles, and shotguns.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to say this question. Now, this may be repetitive, so if it is, you guys need to tell me. Okay, this is also about federal prisoners. What percentage of the jail was reserved for federal prisoners during your administration? That's the first part. How can housing federal prisoners benefit Logan County when prisoners of local jurisdiction are turned away? And Sheriff, you're first.
I think we've answered that.
We've answered that, I think.
Is
Yeah,
everybody satisfied?
we've answered that.
Okay. Sheriff Bauman, what improvements have you made while in office?
I'm assuming that's talking about the building or purchasing cars or...
That's what the question says, is what improvements have you made while in office?
Okay. When we took office in 2009, it wasn't too long afterwards, we had geothermal problems. We had to dig up the parking lot east of the courthouse, and it cost me $15,000 to do that. We got that repaired. We had more problems inside the jail. We had water softener problems. It cost me almost $25,000 to get a water softening system set up so that it wouldn't eat our pipes and utensils that take water within the jail. Recently, we had to repair our ceilings. We had the hangers from the geothermal, the pipes were coming apart and falling down through the ceiling. We had to call back people, and they had to put up hangers. They said these only have about half of the hangers that should have been put on there, and they put the other half up. So we did those kind of improvements. Other than that, the improvements has been buying cars and.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to find questions here that are addressed to both you guys. Okay, so we want this to be fair. But I'm going to address this one to you, Sheriff. I don't know what else to do with this one, but here we go. Why do you allow up to 4 administrative staff drive county vehicle home at a cost of around $225,000, that's what it says, a month just for fuel?
Okay, I don't need that. I don't know where they're getting the figures from, but they're 5 miles outside of the county. And when they come into the county, my staff are all certified deputies, and they all answer calls during the day or afternoon, whatever. They take calls. So therefore, this is fuzzy math to me, that if you can drive 5 miles out of my county and come up with $200,000 worth of gas in a year, then that's something I don't know about.
Okay, I think we're down to two questions. Three questions. Okay. This is for both of you. If the current sheriff has added 20 vehicles to the patrol fleet and gas costs twice as much as 3 years ago, how can he justify saving $7,000 a month? And I guess that's yours.
Yeah, thanks. Understand it. I have $1 million in the bank that we can use to pay gas. My guys are out on the streets patrolling, and they patrol more today than they did 4 years ago. And so we're going to use more gas when the guys are on the street.
Okay, the last question. Why does it take 28 days to get a concealed carry application from the something to OSBI when state statute says it should be sent in 14 days? What is that?
Yes, so I'm talking about the sheriff's office.
Okay. Okay, let me repeat that. This is the last question, and then the guys are going to have their closing statements. Why does, oh no, they're not. They're going to ask each other questions. Why does it take 28 days to get a concealed carry application from the sheriff's office to OSBI when state statute says it should be sent in 14 days?
First of all, I don't know. I don't handle that. I have people that handle the SBA stuff, and they were doing it. We have a very large amount of people that come in and do carry concealed, and we were doing it once a week, a couple hours a day. We're doing it every day except for Friday. We do it all day, so it takes a lot less.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about that?
Other than just what it says, I mean, that's, you need to go by statute and get it, get them turned in time.
Okay. I'm going to step down now, and I'm going to ask you guys to ask each other one question. And I want you, Sheriff, to ask the first question, and you have a minute to respond, and then do the other, and then you guys will have 2 minutes to close. Okay.
My question would be, why would you give, or if you did, give a maintenance man that worked for the county an undercover vehicle with lights and sirens that was seized by your drug task force for a take-home vehicle.
We gave him a vehicle to drive because he was needed whenever anything happened. He was brought back in the middle of the night or whatever. As far as the lights and siren, we didn't realize they were in there, and after that we took them out. So, but yes, we let him drive it because he was on call 24 hours a day. Sheriff, you had mentioned that all your deputies live out of county or within 5 miles, and we know that that's not true because we're able to find out where they live. They live anywhere from 40 miles, 35 miles, everything else. So my question to you is, are you sticking to that where everybody that drives out of county is only 5 miles outside the county?
No, sir, that's not true. I have 2 people that are, or as you said, they're 24 hours on call. One is a detective and one is the jail supervisor, and they are on call 24/7, and they respond to murders, they respond to whatever happens in the jail, and those 2 don't live more than 40 miles away, and the other ones live within 4 to 5 miles away.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Mr. Richardson, I'm going to ask you to start this part.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we've covered a lot here tonight. Appreciate everybody coming. I'm hoping for support on June 26th. Some of the things I'd like to do is have an open door policy. I've heard so much about people cannot get in to see the sheriff. They can't visit with him. I've had people call. I had a gentleman from Crescent call me one night and said, and I told him, I said, look, you realize I'm not the sheriff anymore. And he said, yes, but I can't get a hold of the one that's there. And so I just had him call the DA's office. So, but I hear that all the time. So we're definitely going to have an open door policy. We're going to increase drug enforcement. Like I said, that's very big in this county. We need to really get after the drug activity in this county. I want to promote positive interaction with the other agencies. I don't think that's there now. I've heard a lot of stuff from the other agencies, the Guthrie PD, Crescent. They have no positive interaction at all with the current administration, but that's some of the things I want to do. I want to get back to a strong sex offender program. We had probably the best one in the state when I was here. The lady at DOC would when anybody would call and want somebody to check into getting a program started, they called us. We had a deputy that kept track of them and stayed on top of them at all times. Thank you.
I too, bring this over here. I too, and as I explained, we are involved with the district attorney's office working getting drug interdiction going. I have a deputy right now that's working a major fraud case with Crescent PD. We work very well with Langston University. We work very well with Langston PD. We have had some problems with Guthrie PD on different things with different deputies or putting people in jail. But the majority of this law enforcement in this county we get along with very well. I brought a lot of things to the county: professionalism, accountability, progress, and we want to continue to do that. We are financially stable. We have $1 million in the bank. We give money back. I have given money back every year. We're looking out for the citizens. I'm going to protect them first, then us. I will tirelessly work to increase the progress and everything that we're done in this county. We have an open door policy. I have a transparency policy. I employ anybody that wants to know what's in my books, what money we have, come into my office. I will set you down with my secretary who has more than 30 years of accounting, and we run our office straight. Anybody that wants to come in, please come in, and we'll set you down, and we'll show you what we have and what we don't have. I have never been over budget since I've been in office. I'm still working on Sheriff Richardson's budget from the day I started to the point we are right now. We're going to be fiscally responsible. We're going to take care of the citizens. We're going to take care of our jail. We're working towards paying off the sales tax. We pay everything for the jail except the salaries. Thank you.